Yeah, you are now, actually, yeah.
Recording
Out,
now.
out of nowhere, BB just appears. Boink.
Yeah, out of the blue. Out of the bloody blue.
How you doing, BB?
I'm here.
Huh.
We
I
have to
can
be
see
packed
that.
up. We have to be out of here Thursday morning. So
Ooh,
yeah, I have to clear this stuff out. Actually, I think clear the room because they have to work in here. So I don't want them damaging anything.
oh,
Where are they putting you up in a hotel or something?
We don't know anything yet, supposedly, but we have no word. We don't know anything,
It would
which
probably
is
be like,
normal. This whole operation, we didn't even know we're going to have to get out for a week until Thursday, I think.
they'll
that's a
probably
bit too
put you in
short
like
notice.
Crackland Motel or something.
Well, I think they'll
Oh,
just have us make our own arrangements, and then they'll reimburse us. I don't know if they'll reimburse everything. I don't know, like meals or I don't know what's going
oh.
on. We don't know what's going on. That's just the way it is. I have no idea.
They got to come in and plant all the cameras for the NSA.
I think they're already here. It's called me. I monitor myself.
Oh, do
It's
you?
like self-regulation.
Oh, God.
So we also had to clear out our storage room because they have to rip out all the linoleum. So where we usually stuff extra crap, we have to clear that out, or at least off the floor.
They
I
just
mean,
get you guys to move out completely, man. You'll come back and
uh,
there'll be a different tenant living in there.
it's
Yeah,
almost like a rent eviction. It really is. It's almost like that. And I think they are trying to, like, our neighbor across the hall. He decided to move out anyway. He's got another place, and so he just said, "Okay, I'm out of here." So I think that's kind of the plan. Yeah.
Oh, it sucks.
Yes, it does.
But you're going to escape most of it because you're heading off to sunny Cuba.
No, I'm not. The problem is, I hope we'll be able to get back in before I have to head out. I hope. Like they're supposedly a day or two or a few days, but I don't know. I hope. Like I'm gonna have to pack to be prepared to just head out.
Right.
I don't know. It's really a mess.
hectic.
It's a mess. Yeah, it's very, and I was ever since mid August when that flooding upstairs. I mean, everything it's just really thrown me off. I mean, I'm disorganized enough as it is, and this makes it even worse. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, how we doing?
That's pretty
Three
bad.
eyes are met.
So, did you have a nice little chat?
We're talking about you the whole time.
I knew
Yeah,
it. I knew it. Oh my God. Old Bo's got a lot of bear patches.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
Yeah.
yeah. It must be the eczema and all that, isn't it?
What?
He has skin conditions, isn't it? Eczema or
Yeah.
something similar to that.
No, there's
Allergy.
no skin. There's no skin condition. There's no rash. There's no eczema. There's no
Oh,
nothing. He has a food allergy. After I got
okay.
his first round of fucking vaccinations, he
Yeah.
develops a food allergy, and I'm trying my best to figure out what it is. Best guess is it's corn or wheat, gluten meal, corn meal gluten, wheat meal gluten that they
Yeah.
put in cat food and dog food
Yeah.
as a source of protein. And the
Yeah,
reason that they develop either that or chicken or allergic reaction to chicken is because in the vaccines to grow the bacteria or whatever virus they have to grow, they need a protein for the virus to grow on. And so what they do
yeah,
is feed them corn meal gluten or wheat meal gluten or chicken, whatever it is.
yeah.
And some dogs, especially dogs that are blue pits, will can develop a an allergy, skin allergy, to that uh, particular stuff, whatever grew the virus in the first place.
Yeah.
So I've got him this expensive blue food.
Oh yeah, blue, whatever, blue
Yeah.
menu, something.
And I try to feed him nothing.
Product placement, endorsement.
Yeah. But I try to feed him that and nothing else. But you know how I am. I mean, he comes up there and looks at me, and I got pizza in my hand, so I got to give him a slice of pizza. And of course, that's wheat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, Mom eats nothing but chicken because that's all she can really digest. So she always gives him a piece of chicken.
Right.
So if I could just stick to making sure that's all he ate, then at least I could know whether those are the things that are actually causing it.
Yeah, at least find out the constant, all that mess.
You look like kind of like Saint Julian. You have this light over your head, the glare.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Saint San Ramon. It is San Ramon.
Hang on a second.
I was like, oh, he's been blessed.
Oh, Antichrist. Oh, shit.
San Ramon. It's San Ramon. Saint Raymond.
Saint Ramon.
San Ramon. Yeah, you
Saint
got that.
Ramon. Saint Ramon of the conspiracy theorists.
I know, but you had that Saint Julian aura about you.
Well, I think he's got a better aura than I do because he gets better chicks, man. He got like Pamela Anderson coming up into that place.
Yeah.
There's
She's
two
a big
Scandinavian women he raped. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, Pamela Anderson is from around here. She's from Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island,
really?
British Columbia. Yeah. Yeah. I pointed that out to Freddie. You know, he did that video or two. And he said, yeah, that's right. Because Freddie's from around, he lives around here too.
Okay, so what are the three I was talking about today? Oh, look what I got.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Where'd you get those from?
Her.
Oh.
There when because I met Freddie at a local pub. I met Freddie at a local pub because he, you know, rides his motorcycle through, and you know, they have those coasters, you know, in pubs.
I don't think he knows Freddie.
No, you don't know Freddie. Yeah, I don't know if you.
I haven't seen him before, but I think I've heard of him once or twice, but that's about it.
He runs a YouTube channel called Fucking Freddy or FKN Freddy.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him.
Making
I've seen him on Scott's comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Scott
Freddie.
always gives us hot tips.
He just sort of talks about all the, you know, shills and fake truthers, I guess, on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot of those lately.
I don't watch all of those, but yeah, he did one about Assange, or two. He did a couple about Assange.
So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Brexit. That's what we were talking about while you were making ready. We're talking about Brexit.
Did you record? Did anybody record that part?
He did.
I did.
That's good.
Just when Scott went balls deep into Brexit, I was like, oh yeah, go and record that now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just for the record, on BB, I cannot record because if I try to record while Skype is running, then that horrible noise is made full time with the computer, and it'll mess up my recording and your recording because you'll be able to hear it. So I can't record.
Yeah.
But if you guys, one of you guys wants to give me,
that's a nice excuse. That's a nice excuse.
If one of you guys wants to give me permission, then I can just do a mirror on my site for one of yours.
You got my permission. Don't you worry about that.
Okay,
so you can upload, you know, my copy onto your YouTube channel.
That works.
Jules is usually better quality, but you can't see him. His image is smaller. That's the problem.
Yeah. We've been trying to find the thingy.
But since he recorded the first part, it would be better probably to
yeah.
His. Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about now? We're going to talk about Brazil?
Bolivia?
No, Bolivia.
Oh,
Bolivia with Evo Morales.
Man, I don't know what's going to happen there. I hope it's going to turn out well, but you know, I like to be a pessimist, and if I'm pleasantly surprised, great. So I don't want to get my hopes up about anything. You know, that's my whole approach. Expect the worst. Expect the worst.
Well, it's easy to be pessimistic about this one.
Well, did you ever find, you sent me the Spanish version of the OAS report
Yes.
where it said did you ever find the English? There should be an English language one, I think.
There should be one, but they haven't done one that I know of yet.
Oh, really?
This thing just came out. The OAS report just came. That's a preliminary report, by the way, and it just came out.
But they already had a preliminary. Like they've had preliminary. They issued like preliminary reports back in October after the election. I found those. I was trying to find it.
That's the one that just came out today. That's the preliminary report that just came out today. It's dated.
They came out with statements or whatever, press releases maybe about their suspicions already. So surprise. It surprises me. They should be issuing them in English and in Spanish at the same time. So that's a little weird, I think. Like the UN does, all these organizations, they will issue the same report in different languages.
Yeah.
No, they have full-time translate, or maybe they're outsourcing now. So they have translators, and it takes no time at all.
Right.
It's the jargon, the translate. That's the thing. It's technical jargon. So I'm not used to reading that in Spanish. Like, okay, I can read that in English and pick through that. I can read that in French and kind of pick through that. But in Spanish, I'm even slower.
You would imagine that the technology exists now, though, as they write it in Spanish. It also is written in English. So there's got to be an English version of it someplace. But maybe they don't want us to see an English version because it is easier for us to read.
There is a site where you can insert text and it will like digital. I will often use digital translations because it speeds things up, and then I can see where the problems are and correct those. That's
the only one that I know of is Google, and I wouldn't trust Google with something like this because Google will tell you whatever Google wants you to know.
No, there's an app. There's a site where you can insert text and it'll. Yeah. But if you can kind of understand the language and you can pick out the problem areas in the digital translation.
I'm sure that it's a big enough story right now. I'm sure that there are plenty of alt websites who are currently working on translating their own, or they already have the official English version, and they're in the process of reporting on them. So I'm sure by tomorrow I'll be able to find plenty.
That reminds me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
Oh, that reminds me. I've been meaning to do a translation of that. Remember the Yellow Vest Charter, and their English language version doesn't really reflect everything that's said in the French language one. And so I always meant to do my own of that. Yeah, the Yellow Vest Charter is very important, and I keep mentioning it to people. Like if you want to see what they stand for and a real protest movement, what they're about, that charter is perfect.
You were saying, Abdul?
No, I wasn't saying anything else, but it's just in regards to the whole Eva Morales story, and that it will pick up eventually, like you said. So I haven't got anything else to add to that. But in regards to the Yellow Vest Charter, I actually do suggest that you translate it because it's still being ongoing in regards to the protests, and it's still not been getting enough coverage as it is. So best to actually repost that translation, or rather, like you said, you want to do it yourself because translation accuracy issues.
Right.
Well, they left out parts in the English language version about the French colonies or Francophone colonies in Africa, and I thought, well, that's interesting, but that wasn't in the English language version.
No, I didn't see any mention of that at all.
Yeah. No. So Evo Morales has resigned, and that's because the general stepped in and asked him to resign, and then more or less forced his hand and made him resign. And the argument was to stop the violence, and that would be the opposition violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, again, obviously, Barb and I talked about this on direct messaging.
Yeah.
Again, clearly he won the first round. The question was,
Surprised
did
people.
he
Yeah.
win enough to end the thing, or to not have the runoff uh, after that first round?
He
And
offered
the
to have
question,
a second round. He
right,
offered.
and the question became, why did they stop publishing the results for 24 hours? And then when they came back and said, okay, he's won it by over 10%, it didn't pass the eye test. Now, he himself, before he was several hours ago, he himself fired the people who run the elections.
Yeah.
So he obviously clearly he was trying to make up for either the appearance of something being wrong or something literally being wrong.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
possibility.
yeah. I've learned that in these situations where there's a leftist government and the opposition is attacking and challenging, that the leftist governments always are very conciliatory
Yes.
and try to negotiate, but the
Yep.
opposition will not accept anything other than you're out.
Right.
So
Similar to-
yeah,
it's very
they do
similar
that.
to the UK situation as well.
Mhm.
Very
How so?
similar.
How so?
How so? You've seen the smears that Jeremy Corbyn's been getting in regards to the Labour Party, and the mainstream. You've been hearing all these reports about how the media's being accused of bias against the Labour Party, even though their beliefs are reportedly left-leaning,
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
supposedly being a keyword. But yeah, but still, just saying in regards to that. So,
Well, I see what you're saying, Barb. I mean, that's true. That happens. But again, like we talked about in the direct messaging thing, um, he made it harder on himself and he made it harder for others to get behind and stay behind him, pushing for this fourth term. That was the real, I think, more than anything else, that was his biggest mistake. Pushing for the fourth term. He had already had three, he was in his third. If he hadn't pushed for the fourth term, he could fulfill his obligation, finish the term he's running now, and in all likelihood, because it's a socialist and a left-leaning country, whoever his hand-picked successor would have been for the election on October the 20th would have won. So I think most of this is brought on, I hate to say it, even though I know what you're saying, this is a right-wing effort to remove not only him, but also the socialist left-leaning party from power. But in this particular case, by pushing for the fourth term, I mean, he's already the longest running current leader in Latin America. I think he kind of didn't do himself any favors and didn't do Bolivia any favors by pushing for that fourth term. I mean, he lost the referendum attempt in 2016 to make a constitutional change to allow him to run. And no one said that election was rigged. He himself said that referendum was rigged. He himself admitted it and looked at the results and recognized the results were legitimate. So even his own people said, you know what, 3 is enough. 4 might be a little much. You know, had that not happened, I think it would have been probably an easy victory for his party and the left-leaning people in Bolivia to continue the next presidency. Now there's going to be issues because they're going to seize on this like dogs on a bone. They're going to seize on this to say, yes, he's a dictator. See how the socialists and the leftists are all dictators, blah, blah, blah. Now they're going to have problems.
yeah.
Well, I think even if he had picked a successor, knowing how the opposition operates, they would never accept anybody, even Abel's successor.
Well, you say that, but he's won 3 elections so far, and he was the current president. So whether they didn't want him to be the president the first time, or the second time, or the third time, but he was. He won, and he was president.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they just
obviously, whether they wanted to, whether they would have allowed him, the successor, to remain in power or not, that they had no choice if they win. Now, it could still happen that way. I certainly hope it happens that way.
I'm not confident at all.
Yeah, but as the OAS, as I pointed out in our conversation, the OAS now says the whole election system has to be remade to make it more democratic.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a big.
As we know, the OAS is all about democracy, right? We know that.
Boy.
So yeah, it could be. I mean, this could be a change like what happened in Brazil. This could be the same kind of thing taking place.
And it almost happened in Nicaragua.
It almost happened in Nicaragua.
And
yeah.
I don't know the details, but I don't think there was I think the opposition was simply challenging Ortega as president, his legitimacy. And you can make the same argument. Well, he was first. I mean, I don't know the details of, but he was first became president in back in the 80s, I guess, or or 80, or late 70s. No, yeah, late 70s. Yeah, late 70s. So, and then he was voted out, and then he got back into office.
I'm not sure. I don't know how many terms that they can. 2 consecutive terms, according to the Constitution. And the reason that he's serving a 3rd term is because when they made some changes to the Constitution in 2009, he said, well, this is a different government, so the 1st term doesn't count. So when he was elected in 2005 and started serving in 2006, that term didn't count. So he was allowed to run for a 3rd term. But I think it might be that because the guy he's running against, the guy who says he won or should have won, he was president before too. So I think it might be 2 consecutive is the limit, but you can run more times than that. So technically speaking, he could come back and run again. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But 2 consecutive is the limit.
It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. That must be how it is in the U.S. After FDR, they said, okay, we don't want somebody in office so long, so they set the 2-term limit. But I don't know if that means you go out of office and then you can be reelected again. I don't know how that works.
In the U.S., 2 terms is 2 terms. Period.
That's it. Okay.
But in some countries, I think Russia is another example too, right?
Yeah, because Putin. Yeah, he switched off with Medvedev, and then he became president again. So they swapped. One is prime minister.
Successor. Right.
Medvedev was prime minister. Putin was president. Then Medvedev was president, and Putin was prime minister, and now Putin is president again. Yeah.
And there was actually talk last year about Ahmadinejad running again in Iran after he picked Rouhani. Was that his name? Is that his name? Rouhani, the president as his successor? What?
Rouhani. Hassan Rouhani.
Right. So I think he was talking about running possibly again as well. I don't know what their laws are though.
No, I haven't seen much else with regards to updates recently in that. Since that, it's just been fading to nothing with regards to the whole story. So I haven't seen any new updates on that so far, I'm afraid. Anyone else?
Iran?
With regards to Ahmed, I can't pronounce his name.
Ahmadinejad.
Yeah, see, I'm having a Scott moment there.
Took me the longest time to learn how to fucking spell that, because back in those days, that's all I did was write. So it took me the longest. Then I discovered I could just copy and paste it. I said, fuck it, somebody else knows how to spell it.
No way. Yeah, that's a mess. I'm just going to be pessimistic, and if things turn out well, great. But I don't know. In Bolivia, anyway.
Yeah, man.
Well, so what now? Who's in his vice president is in charge now? So his vice president takes over. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he hasn't been asked to step down.
Interim.
The only person is interim, and the only thing is the general hasn't stipulated who can run in the election and who can't run in the election.
Right.
The opposition is saying they don't want the vice president and the president involved in any kind of the election anyway, and they don't want the vice president running. But just because he says he doesn't want the vice president running doesn't mean that's not going to happen. So it's very possible the vice president will end up as the interim president and then running for the election.
Wow.
And probably winning the election.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you made a good point in your video today. You were talking about Bolivia. And I've noticed this too. You were citing something from mainstream media about that Evo Morales is a neoliberal. And that is what they do with these leftist leaders. They say, oh, I heard that on Twitter from opposition accounts that were coming after me over Nicaragua. And they were claiming, oh, Ortega's neoliberal. I'm going, I don't think so. That's what they do now.
Yeah.
They say, oh, he's new. And I even heard that in Cuba. That the government is too cozy with business, basically suggesting they're neoliberal. I'm going, I don't think so.
They hand select propaganda to tell people in order to discourage them and think a certain way. And so they go to places like us and they say, oh, these guys hate neoliberals. We'll call Ortega a neoliberal. We'll call fucking Morales a neoliberal.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's the new game. That's the new game. And another thing is they say, we don't want left or right. That's a shell game to trick people. Like there is no left and right. That's another thing. It's sort of this libertarian jargon that I hear a lot increasingly. And there is a Puerto Rican rapper named Resident. And he comes from a group called Calle Street 33 in Puerto Rico. And he says this, and he's been talking about Chile that way, that we don't want left or right. We just want the current government out. We don't want left or right. And I'm going, what? So he's a real propagandist. He talks about Latin American countries all the time. Oh, we don't want left or right. What?
And they toss out that the phrase third way.
The third way, yes, the third way. But we know what that is. Corporate centrism.
Just found good news there, that's for sure. Especially when people preach about unity and then you see certain political factions or people from dubious backgrounds talk about that shit.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Well, there was a I forget his name. I want to say Rasputin, but it's Rasmutin or something like that. He was his former head of NATO, and he had
Rasmussen, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, Rasmussen, yeah.
Rasmussen, whatever, Rasmussen. I want to call him Rasputin. But, he acts like Rasputin. But he wrote a book back in the 90s. He was a pure neoliberal, but they started to recognize the fact that the term neoliberal was getting, a bad rap. Mm-hmm. Even this is early 90s. This is back when fucking Bill Clinton was still talking about smaller government, and he was pulling people further to the fucking right. And Bill Clinton was a clear neoliberal. But this guy wrote a book talking about they had to change what they call themselves, and he was saying they should call themselves third way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where it comes from.
That's how long that's been around.
Funny you mentioned that because I did read an article or two with regards to neoliberalism and how people avoided, especially in the Western capitalist societies, that they avoided that term for that particular reason.
Right, because people know what it means.
Yeah, they do now. People have caught on. They know what that word is. I can't see Scott on camera anymore. So what's going on? I can't.
You can't see me? Okay. No. I had to work my magic.
You had jazz hands?
Yes. We can't applaud anymore because that might offend somebody, so we gotta.
That might trigger autistic people.
That's how you applaud, for the deaf. This is what they do. That's how they applaud.
What did you say? You say you're not applauding, you're making fun of autistic people.
Donald Trump does that pretty well.
Go into a psychiatric.
I see
Go into a
product
psychiatric
placement.
ward. You start saying thank you, because everyone's going like this.
Uncle has product placement. He's got the Amazon
Oh,
smile. Damn it! You're CIA. I knew it. I knew it. You fight with Jeff Bezos. Yeah, you gotta deal with Jeff
Believe you're
Bezos.
doing
I
the
know
product placement thing, man. God damn, you're selling out.
everyone's shooting critics now.
it. Man, I see that. I know what's going on here.
lot of shit.
I still can't see
What?
Scott. Oh, wait, that's
Everyone's talking critics.
I'm not saying anything, but if they want to send me a couple cases of these,
I don't know what I can't see what you're doing, so I have no idea.
I was holding up a pack of cigarettes.
he's holding a pack of fags. Cigarettes, I mean.
Thanks. He's homophobic too. He's
Congratulations.
the
Congratulations.
CIA
You
Jeff Bezos homophobic.
just got us
CIA
AIDS.
Jeff Bezos
Thank you
homophobic.
very much.
Packet of fags. There you go. Now I've said it.
Oh God, that's gonna get us deplatformed.
Get us AIDS restricted.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I never knew that slang word. I learned it watching EastEnders in Australia. Yeah, that's where I learned that one. Yeah.
As far as cigarettes,
Yeah, cigarettes. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't smoke a fag though. You
Smoke a fag.
smoke a fag. That's
Don't
got,
say
that's got a
that.
totally different meaning in this country now.
It does have a different meaning.
That's like rubber. Because I knew somebody. This guy and his aunt was English, and she went into a shop in the U.S. in a pharmacy or a drugstore and asked for some rubbers. She meant erasers, and the guy's like, "What?" Yeah, that's funny. Now that's funny. Yeah. I had that happen to me once or twice in Australia. I would say something and it meant something totally different on Australia. So that was interesting.
That language is so divided. One word means different things in different countries, man.
Yeah. Well, that's French is like that too, between like Canada, Quebec, and France. It's like I had to learn a whole different French language when I went to Quebec because
in France, surrender means victory.
Yeah, that's gonna end well. I'm pretty sure.
No, surrender
What
means
happened?
to make love.
What happened? We surrendered. Yay!
No, it means to make love.
That's where the phrase "cheese eating surrender monkeys" come from.
Cheese eating surrender monkeys.
What?
Where did that come from? Cheese eating surrender monkeys. Where does that come from? I've heard that.
I don't know.
It's a film
Oh,
someplace.
God,
Damn cheese.
no.
I want to say it's. What's the one with the cowboy riding the fucking bomb down to the?
Dr. Strangelove. Dr. Strangelove.
Was it George C. Scott all pissed off about the cheese-eating surrender monkeys? I don't know. It's.
I don't remember that part. I love that movie. I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
my God. Man, we have really gone off the rails here now. I don't
Yeah.
Talking about condoms and fucking
know.
fags. Fags for condoms.
Rubbers.
Now I'm going to be deplatformed. Thank you very much.
Oh, there's also an election in Spain today too, and that's a mess. That's a whole mess. Like, I would not be voting. And it's the second election. You know, there was another one in 6 months ago, so this is another. I don't know. It's a mess. Everybody's so divided.
Is this one tied to the Catalonia thing, or is this separate from the Catalonian thing?
No, it's separate from that, but that's always a factor in these things. Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess there. I just feel sorry. The people there, there's no winning side. So I would not be voting. And I think a lot of people don't vote because it's there's nobody to vote for, really.
It's like the jelly in the sandwich and all of this mess.
Did you say you wanted a sandwich out of all this, man?
No, I said population there is like the jelly in the sandwich.
Jelly in a sandwich.
It's like the jelly in the sandwich.
Sandwich between two loaves of bread, or two slices of bread, I should say, with two different opposing parties and shit, man. I'll tell you what.
No, well, no. In Spain, there's like 3 or 4, and it's just
Well, that's even worse then.
Yeah, no, it is. And then you got the Catalan parties. I don't know. It's a mess. It's just such a mess. It really is.
So
But I think it's deliberately a mess. It's deliberately a mess. Like, remember, the Spanish Civil War was sort of the dress rehearsal for World War II. So I kind of see what's going on in Spain. It's like a dress rehearsal for all of Europe, really.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because Steve Bannon and George Soros are involved in Spain. So, those guys are not, they're not about stability. They want to destabilize things as much as possible.
They're the bastion of free speech and democracy, I'm sure. Said no one ever.
Said no one ever. It's like a sandwich with 16 pieces of bread and jelly all over the fucking place. A big wad of jelly.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a destabilization operation here. The flooding upstairs. I'm not kidding. That's crazy. It's like an earthquake, as if we had an earthquake.
Are they actually doing renovations in like the apartments next to you or above you, below you?
Across the hall, and above, yeah. It was at this end of the building where the flooding, it was across the hall and one floor up, where a guy left the tap running in his bathtub or something. I don't know. I don't know about that story. But that's,
That sounds, and he had just moved in and had no furniture in there, right?
He just moved in, supposedly. And
that sounds
we didn't get it as bad as other apartments. It's just this room and the bathroom that's affected. But because they have to test everything, and they found asbestos because it's an old building. And then they found lead in the paint, so they got I don't know. It's called abatement. They have to remove this, and that's why we can't be here
they have to bring in a bunch of children and let them eat all the lead paint real fast.
Yeah, good off.
Well, that's the thing. If you leave asbestos and like lead paint, then the problem with lead paint is that kids were eating chips of it. I remember in the 60s, the lead paint thing.
Yeah.
And if they just leave the asbestos alone, it's not a problem if it's, in the walls and sealed.
No, you kids be paranoid. You kids be paranoid about asbestos. They'll probably destroy the whole building just to get rid of that, even if it's not activated.
I know, it's stupid.
I get the concerns, but it can be overkill. It's pretty like bulldozing a house just because some put the wallpaper the wrong way around.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted. My dog is eating my shoes.
Oh, host.
He really is an omnivore then.
Yeah.
He is. He just gets. He's so spoiled. He just like, you're gonna pay attention to me. You're gonna play fetch and eat your shoes.
Yeah. I wonder.
Anyway, so we've covered Bolivia. We've covered. What else is it to cover?
Well, I've been going through all my bookmarks and posting stuff, and I found a lot of good information about like Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. So it's kind of filled in even more stuff. And what's interesting, I pointed this out to someone that. So there's this fellow named Tarpley, Webster Tarpley.
Yeah,
and he used to talk a lot. Yeah, he used to talk a lot about Assange and Snowden and all those types. Huh?
He's feeling iffy about Webster G. Tarpley.
I'm not iffy about Webster Tarpley. I know Webster Tarpley.
Oh.
No, but he purged all his stuff.
Yeah, you know why he purged all his stuff? Because for the longest time in 2008 and 2012, anybody talking about exposing what Barack Obama really was, this guy went after him like it was his career.
Yeah, I have a video where he
truth teller. He went after anybody talking bad about or anybody exposing anything about Barack Obama.
He did.
The guy is not The guy is not reliable. However, he did do some good work. You know,
He did,
Yes,
yeah.
he did. Yeah, he
yeah,
did. Yeah.
he did do some good work in the early days, and his stuff on Assange is very good.
Yes,
Um,
it is. It's very
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
but
Yeah. No, I he's a PhD, so that kind of tells you, yeah, PhDs.
tells you what,
Publish
Uh,
fine.
that
he's
joke
an,
went over that
he's
joke
got
went
an
over my head.
academic, he's got an academic career, so he's not gonna be a real
That's what, yeah. You have a
truth.
backronym for that, I believe. PhD.
Piled
Harvard.
higher and deeper. Piled higher and deeper is what they call
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, there's some really good. Like I said in the video, one of the previous videos I did, there's some really really good stuff on Julian Assange, and the stuff that
Yes.
I've done over the years is good and it's okay, but there's some really in-depth stuff. Uh,
Mhm.
like I said, one of my videos talking about this most recent expose of his entire legal staff all being fucking deep state assets.
All that I knew right away. Well, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
There were people who have covered that a while ago, but also, and I think I did at one time as well, but at least the main ones, his main legal team, but then uh, everyone around him, and I mean everyone around him,
Yeah.
is associated with the deep state in one way. They're all sleazebags.
Mhm.
Every single one of them is a
They
sleazebag,
are. Yes,
and
they are.
it just amazes me that people keep fucking deflecting. They keep saying, every when this new stuff, it's like this new thing about all of his fucking lawyers being deep state assets. People are going, oh my god, and you'd think, okay, they're gonna get it, and they go, oh my god, he's in even worse trouble than we thought. Like, god damn, man, how much does it take for you to understand?
It's like talking to a brick
Really?
wall.
Huh?
Really? It's like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is listen to what Julian Assange says, what he does. Like, okay, I got it, I got it. And the original, I found out, and this, I kind of understood this. The original mission of WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden was to demonize China above all and to go after China. That was the big target, along with other countries, but China is the big, the big kahuna as far as regime change and destabilizing. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's Tarpley's okay. Some
Yeah,
facts,
it's good
other
stuff.
facts.
I'm not saying that he's 100% reliable, but he put out some good stuff. And also, John Young, who backtracked too on WikiLeaks, he went quiet or said, "Oh, I never said that" or whatever, and you've had issues with him.
Well, then he also backtracked on that backtracking about a
Yes.
year and a half later. Yeah.
About-
Yeah. But I mean, to Tarpley's credit, he and I think two others were named along with me as a Snowden truther
Yes.
a week
Yes.
after
Yeah,
Edward
the
Snowden
Salon
came out with
magazine.
Glenn Greenwald. Right.
Mhm.
So, but Tarpley's, so, he does some good stuff.
Yeah, I found some good stuff that he put out. So that was, I dug that up. And I'm getting really good at finding stuff that was archived that people think are lost. I'm getting really good at digging that up with some help. And there's actually an interview with Tarpley. He was on your old buddy Tom Kiley's radio show. Yeah. Didn't know that. I found that.
Is Kylie still on the radio?
Yeah, he's still doing that.
Is he?
As far as I know, yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, because he went all in with fucking Trump after a while.
Yes, he really has gone full on with Trump now. Yeah.
Is he pushing the Q shit now too?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
As far as I know, no.
I can't believe that's still going on, but yeah, the Q's still going on.
Well, I guess it's kind of like what we were joking about before, with these people just not letting the sun shine into their fucking heads when all of this evidence about Assange comes out. All of this shit about fucking Q being a goddamn psyop, being run by the fucking deep state in the White House. All of this information out there for them to realize, and they just don't fucking get it. They just won't get it.
It doesn't pay. it doesn't pay. The money is with going along with the psyops.
Well, they tried to get me when I still had American Everyman and the Q first thing came out. I would have people come onto my website and leave comments saying, "Hey man, have you heard about this new thing, QAnon? Hey, why don't you talk to this person about QAnon? Scott, why don't you do a video about QAnon? Talk to this person." Turns out they were all the same kind of network that fucking Freddy discusses today. Same kind of networking, and they all got paid. That's how QAnon got started. That was exposed a couple of years ago. They were all getting paid. All these influencers and thought leaders.
Yeah, Dr. Jerome Corsi.
Jerome Corsi and those guys, they were all getting paid to promote this bullshit QAnon crap.
Yeah, and they're also big lovers of Israel too. Hey, there's a coincidence.
Okay, hang on. I gotta move. The dog is just after my shoes. Stop.
Well, I can't even see you, so I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. You can be doing whatever you want, and I wouldn't know.
Why can't you see me?
You can't. I just see your icon. I don't know.
Well, you see me, don't you? I'm talking to you, Abdul.
Oh, pardon? Oh, shit. I can see it. I think the whole stream's slowing down to a high hell.
The stream is slowing down?
You literally just both of yours. It just goes.
Yeah. You're kind of like free. Yeah, you kind of freeze up. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's.
Hold on a second. Let me do something.
It's going glitchy.
Because I think I got mixed up the edge.
Yeah, I don't see Scott. Oh wait, something's going. There, I see Scott. Scott has switched sides. He has switched sides. Now you're on the side.
Now I'm on the right. Now I'm a Trump fan.
You switched
MAGA.
teams.
MAGA.
You're playing for a different team now.
I'm a MAGA guy and I'm gay.
Yeah.
I'm a log cabin Republican.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, this video's getting banned.
Yeah.
So, what else we got?
I can't think of much else.
Barb's just sitting there.
Yeah,
smiling.
she's frozen.
She's gone.
Yeah.
It froze up on my end. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now I can't see Abdul now. I just see his lady icon.
Oh God!
I asked him who that was.
I ain't telling you. But anyway, anything else you want to talk about? Because I've been mainly keeping an eye on the UK and how the hell that's been going on. Bobby, you want to talk about Hong Kong stuff then? Because you've been keeping a very close eagle eye on that.
Yeah, I keep an eye on it. So the numbers have dwindled, but there's still, they're the thugs out there being violent still. Yeah. And that. So there's a number of things. So there's local elections in Hong Kong, and they already tried to assassinate one of the pro-Beijing politicians.
Yeah, I've seen that. I believe Carrie Lam left as well, or what? Actually,
yeah, she's still in office, but they were trying to spread some rumor that the Beijing government was going to take her out, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, but the opposition in Hong Kong, they want her gone. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, sorry.
But the dog.
Scott's distracting me like a little kid.
I know. And then there are Taiwan elections coming up. So that's a factor in Hong Kong as well. Actually, yeah, Taiwan and Hong Kong and China, they all go together. And then there's the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. I don't think it's going to get passed again. They've tried since 2013. All the Hong Kong protests about getting that act passed, but I don't think it's going to happen. It might.
I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think they're doing themselves any fucking favors if they're running around attacking pregnant women in fucking in subways. I mean, we want to save Hong Kong. We want to get this human rights thing passed. How do we do it? Let's kick that pregnant woman's ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I hate that account. There's an account that I'm very suspicious of that keeps calling them protests and protesters. I'm going,
Liam Stone.
What?
Hello?
Hello?
Baby's frozen up again. She's saying that Baby's saying that there's an account who she can't trust. One of the protesters.
She's got this really suspicious look on her face staring at
So yeah, that was yeah, there we go again.
freezing up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said that there's a account that you think is dubious.
Yeah, Liam Stone. I'm going to say the name. It has a sort of a panda, but it keeps calling them protesters and protests. And that's not right. That's not right.
Yeah, I kind of drew a comparison today to somebody was talking about that, and I said these people aren't fucking protesters, and not even really rioters. These are they're like what happened during Gladio. They really are. I mean, they're just like these right-wing fanatics running around out there attacking people. This is really turning into a fucking Gladio situation in Hong Kong. Ouch. Now he's eating the chair.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Hong Kong. So UK. Let's wrap it up where we started. So what is going to happen now? You're going to have a deadline again for.
We're going to have a general election on December 11th or 12th, I believe. It's basically going to happen in December, so the UK is going to deal with that general election and then vote whoever the heck they want, basically.
All right.
And there's that hysteria surrounding that. And then, obviously, they're going to have to deal with the EU situation in January 2020.
January 20th, right? Something
Yeah.
21st? All right. Okay.
I didn't catch that. Is that when there are elections or something in the UK? Sorry, there was.
There's going to be an election just before that, around 11th or 12th December.
December
Yeah.
9th. Something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so are they expecting Corbyn to win? Are they expecting Labour to win?
I think, to be honest, everyone's expecting a Tory win, Conservative Party.
Really?
For what I'm seeing, yeah.
Well, remember, they're demonizing Corbyn like hell. I mean, they're calling him an anti-Semite. They're calling him fucking Hitler and shit. Yeah.
There's a few politicians that left the Labour Party as well.
Right.
Jeremy Corbyn's Deputy Prime Minister, Tom Watson, who's actually a Zionist and has those loyalties, he's actually stepped down from that position.
It's a divided party. You have the Blair faction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
then Jeremy Corbyn, he doesn't. So the people who voted for Brexit, they don't really like Corbyn because he supported Remain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the Tories win. Does that mean Bojo remains, or are they going to switch him up?
I believe so. Yeah. For what I'm saying, that's going to be the case.
So you guys got 9 months more with this bullshit going back and forth and back and forth. You'll never.
This is going fucking ass either way.
Yeah.
Well,
you'll never get out of there, man. You got to move to Guyana or some shit.
To be honest, I'm just here laughing at all this shit. To be honest, that's the only way I can keep saying.
Yeah.
Well, there was an election here last month.
Oh, they Justin Trudeau, Mr. Fake Eyebrows.
She's gone.
Blackface.
She's gone. She's gone. She's gone again.
She's frozen. Yeah.
She was trying to say there was an election here last month.
Yeah, there's an election and bam, it just frozen.
Yeah, it's freezing up.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk about elections or Hong Kong, you just get frozen up. Zip. And she's gone.
That laugh never ceases to make me laugh.
Her husband's trying to watch Netflix or something. That's what's happening.
Probably.
He's taking all the bandwidth. She might be gone permanently now.
I think something went on with the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi here was acting up. I think
Yeah.
that.
We figure your husband's watching Netflix and he keeps getting frozen up and you keep getting frozen up.
It's this computer. Sometimes it will disconnect from the Wi-Fi for no reason at all. I think sometimes.
Is your router shit, Barbara? Because I've been having issues like that quite recently.
Is that the Nitro?
Sometimes the router, you know, a little internet hub device that actually you actually go to the what is it called? I'm forgetting.
This is a tech guy, and this is a tech guy.
Yeah, I'm getting retarded, you see. I'm losing the plot. I'm becoming more senior than Scott is, but...
So, yeah. So, the election is a snap election that's being held in December?
Yeah,
Votes
basically.
called for a snap election?
Yeah.
So we can't do that here. We can't just say, oh, well, shit's not looking so good. Let's just have another election.
Yeah. Can't do that.
Yeah, it's a parliamentary system.
Yeah. I wish we could. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And then who would you vote for?
You know I don't vote. You know damn
I
well.
don't vote anymore either. Oh, I got a lot of hate. I did a video where it said, I talked about Hong Kong. I said, and I don't vote anymore. And I got some hate there. People don't like it when you say you're not voting.
What?
That's a no-no.
Yeah. Oh, I know that because I learned. I mean, I when I was in 2008, I got a website. I'm on the left.
I'm not going to
vote for fucking Barack Obama. No, who are you going to vote for? You going to vote for McCain? No, I'm not going to vote for McCain. I'm not going to vote at all. That was even worse than McCain.
That's evil!
Yeah, I can't get over all the, influence peddlers or online content creators, and they're pushing Tulsi and they're pushing Bernie. They're sheepdogging for the DNC, and I cannot get over that.
Yeah.
Man.
Did you see Tim? What's his face? Tim Black? Is that his name?
Black. Yeah.
Is that not Tim? Something. It's not Tim Pool. It's the other guy. So I think it's Tim Black. I don't know his name. Anyway, a big black guy. He's got a bunch of followers. Tim Black. He was saying, I mean, I can't believe you guys are saying that Tulsi's saying that, there's some Democrats out there pushing for open borders. Who's pushing for open borders? And I just linked him to fucking Bernie's new thing on his website. Bernie Sanders is.
I could not believe that video did. I did not know that.
And she's out again.
Oh, she looks sleepy.
Every time she comes out and says something about to be, like something, controversial, pow.
Yeah, of course. Box of Spike, I did that.
That's fucking Canada for you right there, man. They're saying, nope, can't say that.
No, of course.
Nope, can't say that.
And we'll be getting feed from her.
She might be gone for good.
Yeah. She's good to see it. KO'd.
Well, it's been a good hour and a half we've been talking.
It has been a good one, despite the technical issues.
Yeah, my computer, it keeps disconnecting from the Wi-Fi. It's this computer that does this, and it's this model. Like Jake has one just like it, and it does that. It'll disconnect from the Wi-Fi. I should have used the laptop. The laptop is more reliable.
I was going to say you weren't using the Nitro, right? The Nitro's not doing that.
Nitro.
That's your laptop.
No, I have a Chrome laptop. No, not. This is a Chrome base. It's a Chrome operating system, but this device, it'll disconnect from the Wi-Fi for no reason.
Didn't you purchase another laptop?
Yeah, it's a Windows for gaming. Yeah.
The Nitro.
But I don't use that. I just use it for gaming.
I was just asking if you were using the Nitro. That's all. Because I wouldn't imagine the Nitro would do that.
No, it's just this device, this model.
I've had issues like that, but it's with the router that I've had set up. So That's been having issues. So yeah.
I have no idea what he just said.
No, I'm saying my internet thingy.
I think that's racist.
Why is it wrong?
That's bigotry. That's bigotry. So there you go. I'm saying it. That's
Why
bigotry.
why is that racist? He's tossed out some fucking technical jargon. I have no, and that's racist. We can't.
Oh my!
If I can say it, I will.
Bo's looking at me like yeah, that's racist, you bastard.
Oh, no, this is Bo.
Oh, you got grey hairs.
That's how he says that's racist.
That's racist. That's racist, guy. Give me a shoe. I gotta teach you a lesson.
He talks like Scooby Doo. Scooby Bo. It's Scooby Bo.
Oh.
Scooby Bo.
So, what else? Yeah, I want to see what happens with Bolivia. I'm hoping that it's not going to be, the OAS is not going to be allowed to completely remake their election system. If they are, God help the people of Bolivia.
Yeah. Because that's about travesty right now, actually.
Yeah.
And then you got Lebanon and Iraq. Wow. Yeah, they keep saying, "Oh, it's a new Arab Spring." I'm going, "Okay, got it." Yeah, that's what I keep.
Saudi, yeah.
Got it.
He's bloody gone from the officially. He had to resign as well, not too long ago.
Who is that?
The Lebanese Prime Minister.
Hariri, is that his name?
Saad Hariri, yeah.
Saad Hariri.
Saad Hariri. Saad.
Is it Saad or is it Saad?
Saad. So yeah, he had to resign.
He can sod off.
Yeah, they're probably going to end up trying to get, is it Maliki out of Iraq to get him to resign as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. If he keeps saying things like we can't keep our damn soldiers there for more than 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
You guys
They'll definitely be asking him to leave. All right, so I'm going to have to go wake up my mom and give her something to eat, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's been an hour. I've recorded for an hour, so.
Yeah.
And I'll pull over. Yeah.
I'm going to shut down because I got early morning tomorrow, so yeah.
What time is it out there for you?
11:07
Wow.
p.m.
Wow.
So 23:07 hours.
Wow. Well, get some rest, guys. It's nice talking to y'all. I got to run.
Same here, folks.
We'll do it again next month.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully the world will still be here.
Yeah. Just before the world snows over completely. And Barbara's dead.
And Barbara's gone.
Of course. What a surprise.
What a surprise. Perfect way to end it. Good to see you again, man. You take
Back
care.
at you, man. You too.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It froze up. Yes, it's got love. Okay.
So, yeah, he just said goodbyes and that's it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Take care, Barbara.
Okay. It was good talking to you again, Abdul.
You too as well.
You are looking awesome.
Thank you. And you froze up again. Oh my God.